Okay guys, hi, I'm Jessica Baltz. This is actually the first time I'm recording, actually seeing me and talking on a video. I do have like 4 little videos on YouTube, but they're pretty lame. So I did a charcuterie board or a cutting board last night, and a lot of people asked for a video of it, and this is a horrible setup. I apologize, but this is the best I could do for now. So I'm just going to show how I did it and hopefully not mess this one up. The one I did last night is actually still wet. I did cover it last night since it was pretty heavy on the paint. It did warp a little bit when the cells. There is some still some good stuff, but is actually still wet and pretty thick right here on the border. So I'm going to try to do a little bit thinner paint tonight. But I don't have those same colors, so I'm going to use some greens that I have. I'm going to do the new Nebula TLP. I've got Tail Feather TLP. I've got Lily Pad TLP. I've got some Interference Gold from Golden and some DecoArt Green Flash Colorshift paint. So I've taped the back of the board. I started out with the green tape and realized that that tape doesn't stick to it. You can see it's coming up on the edge right here. So switched over to the blue tape. I did notice that a lot of these different woods react different to different tapes. So you just got to kind of try the blue tape, and if it doesn't work, go to the green tape. And if it doesn't, I even had this other one, but it didn't work at all. So what I like to do is spin everything. I really just prefer to spin. But I don't want to put this right in the center of the spinner. I want to have just the part of the paint that is going to be on here. I want that to be centered. So I'm going to put it so that that part is centered on my board, which means I'm going to tape this down to it so it doesn't fly off. I did have a little mishap last night, and one kind of did a face plant on the carpet down here. So that was a little bit of a mess to clean up. So I'm hoping not to do that tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to realize that it's about right here that I need to tape it down. But the whole back is taped, so it doesn't really matter where I do it. I use mono adhesive tape. I know that's kind of weird, but I'll just put it on here, right on the tape. I tape the tape. So. And then I'm going to put it so that it's kind of centered. And just to be on the safe side, since last night I did have a little mishap, I am going to tape this sucker down to my spinner somehow and hope that it stays on there better. I don't know if that will do anything at all, but I'm going to give it a shot. Maybe if I do it like that. I don't want to cut up the part that All right. So see, and then we make sure we have enough clearance for everything to spin. We're good to go. So I'm going to be using Sherwin Williams Color to Go in Mineral Gray for the base. I have used this paint before and it dries well. And I'm going to try to go a little bit more minimal on the pillow because I went heavy and it didn't work very well. I am going to do that combination again because it was so beautiful, and I'm so sad that it didn't dry the way I wanted it to. So I just make sure that, you know, you want to make sure that the inside of your little hole is going to have paint to cover it. It's going to have more go down in it over the process, but I don't want to really go too heavy. Don't want to make too many air bubbles doing that either. And I want to leave room so that when I spin it, it has room for this paint, you know, to spin out and not go to the tape. I don't want the sharp line of the tape. I don't want to have the paint go over the tape and then when I peel it off, it's just a nice sharp line. Some people may prefer that, but I kind of like the just natural shape of it that ends up being whatever it ends up being. Alright, I think that's about enough. It's probably too much. And then I'm gonna just pop a few of these bubbles because they're kind of big. Oh, look at there. You can see the wood. That's not good. And then I'm going to start layering my paints. I'm going to do the interference gold first. And I'm actually going to kind of come closer to the line. I went way up last time, and I think that there was just too much pillow paint left. So I'm going to go a little bit closer. And I do mix mine with the Bear 8300, the Glidden Premium Base C, and Josanya 2:1:1. I used Jody Flynn's recipe from the Painted Dreamer. Hi, Jody. And then I'm going to do, I think I want to go with this dark one, this beautiful Nebula. So pretty. At first I was like, what color is this? And then when I made it up, I was like, oh, it's like a really pretty green. Really dark, dark gray green. I don't know what color it is. And I'm going to come in with this bright yellow DecoArt Green Flash Colorshift. See what that does. Might be cool. And then we'll go some Tail Feather. Another one of these beautiful TLPs. Oh, I need to do that. And then some Lily Pad. I just got this Lily Pad with the Nebula. I know it's not a new color, but it's new to me and I love it. It'll be one that I mix up every time. Okay, and then I got a crap ton of bubbles because I was just trying to get ready to do this and mixed the paints real fast. Okay. And I have found with the bubbles that a straight pen works the best because anything bigger like a skewer, which I use a lot, and toothpicks are probably pretty good, but they just, I don't know, too much paint gets on them and then you end up putting that paint back into your other paint and you go to pop the next bubble. So anyway, so my cell activator is the titanium white from Amsterdam and the Australian Floetrol. It's a couple days old, so it's kind of getting low in this cup, but I think I still have enough to do it. So this is what I used last night, so I'm going to do this again just because I want to see if I can duplicate that in the same kind of swipe way that I did it. It was a plastic cutting board that I got at the dollar store. It was 2 in a pack, great big huge ones. And I had actually cut it to make something else, to do something different with it. And had these strips laying around. And I was like, oh, I'm going to use them. So that's what I ended up using. And instead of using it the long way, I just did it on the end. I guess I need to bring this over here. Sorry. So I just took it and just kind of wiped it on there. You don't really need a lot. And as a matter of fact, I actually kind of shake off, make sure I don't have just a great big glob of it on there. That's got to move now. And then I just kind of did it in sections. Not anything really special about the way I swiped it. I kind of did a little wavy. And then you wipe that off without spilling your cell activator all over your table. Ooh, that's pretty. Do you want to kind of overlap it just a little tiny bit because then you don't have that weird line. But I have found that sometimes the line is just unavoidable on the swipe and you just gotta go with it. you don't have a big enough swipe tool that is going to do it all in one swipe. But yeah. So like that one, see there, like that's way too much cell activator on there. I don't know if you can see that, but it's really heavy on there. So I'm going to shake it back into my cup. Actually, kind of give it a little tap. Let's see, I'm going to come over here, but I want to... Ooh, these greens are so pretty. And I personally love green and gray together. And part of... I was getting ready to put the gray paint on there. That would not have been good. Part of the reason I don't think that it dried well on that other board, other than it being extremely thick on there, and I couldn't get it to spin off. I don't know why I couldn't spin, but was that I had used the Sherwin-Williams, a light color. It was a super duper light bluey teal kind of color. I know it didn't look like that in the pictures, but I have found that the Sherwin-Williams color to go in the light base, you know, whether it's the white or the light yellow or like, you know, whatever they use that very first base to mix with, just doesn't go well, especially the white. The white is the worst. I haven't had good luck with it at all. And then it looks like we got maybe one more over here. And I always just have one little spot on my wreath box that I always scrape off all my tools on. So that side is always really thick with yuck paint. So I think that's all for the swipe. Now I'm just wondering how it's going to go if I try to spin this. It's a much smaller board, so I'm hoping it doesn't go flying off. And I do have a covering on my floor tonight, just in case. Just popping a few bubbles, letting that last swipe do its thing over here, letting that cell activator crawl through that paint. And I really like to get the bubbles. I know it takes a lot of extra time, but it really does make a difference, because if you don't pop the bubbles before you spin, it changes the shape of your cells and can just create a mess. So I don't know if you can see that or not. It's looking pretty cool. Has some really awesome cells going on here. Okay, so I'm going to try to spin it a little bit here. I'm hoping that it's going to go a little bit farther out this way and kind of spread this little lip out right here, but stay on the spinner. Don't touch the spinner. And see, there's a big bubble right there. That's going to cause problems. Go on, get out of here. I also sew and quilt, which is why I have an abundance of sewing pins, and you can probably see the fabric on the shelf behind me here. It's nice when you can incorporate to your hobbies. So it's spinning out pretty good, I'd say. That one bubble right there just doesn't want to go away. Which makes me think that it's something actually in my paint and not a bubble. Oh man, that gray base with these greens is pretty, pretty, pretty. I'm going to spin it again. Let's just go a little bit harder. Yeah, it's not moving again. Now I see a bubble right there. I like how I have these little hints of that dark nebula in there though, against that bright green. Cool. And I have found that if you have a really bright light above your piece that you're working on, and you can kind of look at it sideways, you can see the bubbles a lot better, but you can also kind of blow just really lightly, and it will actually pop bubbles that you didn't even see. Yeah, whatever that is right there is not wanting to go away, but that's okay. One more spin. And it looks like my camera is probably shaking because it's touching the table and my table shakes. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I'm going to try to do this without shutting the phone off because I've never done this before. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Oh, here we go. So that dark nebula right there, that's pretty right at the edge. And that's interference gold, so it's going to be really cool when it's resined. There's some pretty awesome cells. Really like that gray base. All right. Well, we'll see if this dries better. It does look like it's a little bit thick right here on that front lip, but we'll see how it dries. Thanks, guys. See you next time.